So let's get to the most important part of the chapter, and I think this is what everybody's here for, right?
Yeah.
I titled this piece of the podcast "The Drums of Liberation." So Yamato and Momonosuke are arguing back and forth. Momo wants to surrender to avoid any more deaths. Yamato says they should fight back anyway, since everyone sacrificed themselves for this moment. It's been past 20 years. Yamato wants to die fighting. As Kaido is continuing his rampage, Luffy's heart begins to beat, and Zunisha is shown hearing something. Momonosuke asks what Zunisha's hearing, and the giant responds, "I hear the drums of liberation for the first time in 800 years. He is here." Momonosuke replies, "Who?" Zunisha says, "Joyboy has returned." Next panel, we see Luffy smiling with smoke coming out of his mouth and body, and his hair is melting upwards. What is going on here, Lawrence?
So, Luffy's Joyboy, and it's funny because this doesn't say it in this translation, but another translation, I think the last translation I read, they made it seem like Joyboy and Nika were the same person, right? So, like, showing that Luffy is Nika and Joyboy, right? And it's interesting because when I was first reading it, I was seeing, like, Luffy, like, his body moving, right? I was trying to think, all right, Luffy's coming back to gonna wake up. But now seeing this, and I'm trying to think, like, I kind of felt like it's gonna sound weird, but that wasn't Luffy's smile, you know?
Okay.
Like, yes, it's Luffy's body obviously smiling, but like the smile that Luffy normally makes, I saw a different smile. So now being like, for example, is like, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm trying to, the way Oda does it might make me feel better about it. But like, did Joyboy possess Luffy's body? Like, you know, like, not that we're going to lose Luffy forever, as in now he's just Joyboy. Because because I kind of feel like Oda loves Luffy, as in he lets his, like, that's his, like, you know, Luffy as a character. I thought one thing Oda even wrote, pay attention to the main character, Luffy, right? So us losing Luffy where he's just a new person now as in Joyboy, I don't think that's going to happen. But right now, to me, it seems like this is not Luffy who's about to wake up. This is going to be completely Joyboy, right?
That's your opinion. You think he's going to be completely Joyboy?
That's what it's looking like to me. I don't know if I really want that. It depends on how it plays out. But that's what it's looking like to me. Because also, too, what is happening with Luffy's body, right? Luffy wouldn't know to do this. And he's smiling, right? Because also, too, like, Luffy died. Luffy didn't smile when he died. And we seen before when he was about to die, get his head chopped off, Luffy smiled, right? He's smiling now with a different smile, and you're awakening. So it's like this, and then Joyboy has returned, shows that this might be a different person. Like, so what does that mean for Luffy? As in, how long is Joyboy going to, like, are you working with Joyboy? Because are you going to be conscious with it? Because I don't know if Luffy knows much about Joyboy. But it seems like, to me, Joyboy has possession of Luffy's body, right? For whatever reason, whatever that means, like in the One Piece world. So it's just interesting with how Oda's going to play this, because now he's using Luffy's body to do something. Because, yes, Luffy's rubber, but we've never seen his hair go into rubber. It just looks like normal hair, right? Yeah. And the only time we've seen Luffy's steam come from his body is gears, right? So what is this transformation or thing happening to Luffy's body, you know?
Yeah.
So
I think the question for you, I think, then is, if this is what you think it is, that he's being possessed by Joyboy itself.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
To me, it all depends on how they go about it, because me personally, I wouldn't like someone else fighting Luffy's battle, simply put. Like, if Luffy is going to be the one to fight Kaido and beat him, it should be Luffy, not him borrowing someone else's strength, even if it is using his body, right? Like, we think of, remember they mentioned Yu Yu Hakusho?
Yeah.
Where Ryzen took possession of Yusuke's body to defeat Sensui. How did Yusuke feel after that? He was heated. He didn't accept that. Luffy would be similar. Like, who are you? Let go. This is my fight. Don't butt in. You know? So I would feel the same about Luffy. And also because, like, Luffy, and I got into arguing about Sebastian. If Luffy's supposed to be the greatest pirate ever lived to overcome Roger, one, you shouldn't be dying, and two, you should be the one to finish your fights, not someone else for you, because this could be a knock to your own great legacy. As in, this never happened to Roger. Like, Roger's the one that defeated his own enemies. Roger didn't die. You're supposed to surpass Roger, but you are here dying, and someone else is feeding your greatest foe right now, Kaido. You know? So it depends on how they go about it. I don't think he should, me personally, I wouldn't want him to take possession of Luffy's body and beat Kaido for him. That I wouldn't like.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Seb?
So I think we've all thought Luffy was Joyboy since the first time we heard the name. Well, first time we heard Orihime talk about it. So it wasn't like a shock. I was shocked that we're here already. You know what I mean? That it came now. Like, I thought that would be something that came later. But I have no issue with Luffy being Joyboy. It's just, I agree with Lawrence 100%. I don't want to see Joyboy take over Luffy's body and fight Kaido for him. I'm of the thought process that maybe he awakened him and that allowed Joyboy to, like, restart Luffy's heart for him, which is still kind of an asshole, but I'd much rather him help Luffy survive so that Luffy can fight and defeat Kaido, and maybe in that process awaken his devil fruit, which is what I think is happening to Luffy in the moment. But as long as we're not, like, if it's going to be a possession thing, I don't want to see Joyboy fighting Kaido for Luffy. I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like seeing, like, to Lawrence's point, I didn't like seeing it in Yu Yu Hakusho. It was dope to see Shishui get his ass whipped like that. But, like, but in general, this is One Piece. Like, soul manipulation in that light where, like, Luffy's now gonna beat Kaido in a way that it's not that's not One Piece.
Yeah.
It's not what it is. So I have a very different take on what's happening there. I'll probably have to work with you on potentially dropping a theory video in regards to what exactly is happening and why this is happening for Luffy. Look out for that. But in general, it really is all just going to depend on how Oda writes it from this point.
Yeah.
Because as we know, like, One Piece is about destiny, but it's never been Luffy's the chosen one to this point. He's just been potentially one of the people, or potentially the one. So, like, if he is this reincarnated version of a person, that could be, depending on how Oda handles it, that could be a mark on the series. So that's all I gotta say for now. But go ahead, Larry.
All right. I feel the same way about you guys, the same way that you guys mentioned. I do not want Joyboy. I don't like the whole Avatar thing. You know?
Okay.
Like, it's Avatar again.
Right.
We've seen it what happened with Asta. He has, like, his devil that he can help him fight. We've seen it with Ichigo having his Hollow fight for him. We've seen it with Naruto having Kurama. We've seen it with Yusuke having Raisen. I know it's a shonen thing, but the thing that always has separated One Piece itself, and I need everybody to realize this, is that this is why One Piece is so great. It's because Luffy has never used a secondary power-up. He's always willed himself to defeat his foes. He's always done the impossible by his way and his standards. And that's the one thing that makes Luffy possibly one of the best characters. He's even better than Goku in some regards because Goku has these crazy ass pulls. Luffy has his, but in a way you feel like he's earned it. It was never just given to him. Yeah. So I think that if Oda makes Luffy get possessed by a previous fellow Joyboy, it's like you're taking away from Luffy's character. You're demolishing Luffy's character. You're demolishing the show. Like, it separated you for this long. It made you this great. And for you to just switch now, I think too many people are jumping on board because that's what they've always seen. Yeah. But if you realistically look at One Piece, you're going to be like, man, this ain't the way One Piece is set up. Yeah. This goes against everything that One Piece is. Yeah. And, like, he's no longer Luffy now. That's the most important part. He's no longer Luffy. We can't have that. Like, you can't take one of the most beloved characters for 1,000+ pages, chapters, and just go, hey, we're going to give this whole control to somebody else. Yeah. And it's like, Kaido doesn't want that either. Kaido doesn't want to face a non-Luffy character.
I mean, he'd be hyped to see Joyboy, I'll tell you that.
He'd be hyped, but
he'd be
again,
like, what?
It wouldn't.
He did it.
That's the only interest we get. Yeah. But the payoff, and I told people in the chat, like, there's like 6 things that if Oda doesn't land properly, it will tarnish the series, even though it will be as great as it is. and we can't have that. For what I think is happening with Luffy's body and, what's happening with his power, right now I think he's going to awaken because of what happened with Kid and Law and their awakenings. I think it follows that pathway. Yeah. So Luffy's going to have to do that. But it's going to be combined with Gear 5. So I think what's happening now is that I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
I'll be real. I don't know what's happening. Only thing I know for sure is that he's rubber still until he's not confirmed to be rubber. Yeah. And I think that anything that he's been doing till right now is possible of rubber. Now, there's 2 instances regarding his devil fruit, right? Because this is what people want to know. It could be Rensin. It could be another oil. It can be. Yeah. But right now, we have 2 facts. One, SBS by Oda says that the only way for the user who eats a fruit to find out what their power is because technically they can look at a manual book that has been produced by the world government, and there's pictures of them. Now, if your fruit isn't in that book, you can eat it, find out what the devil fruit can do, and then you just go, oh, it's that fruit. If it's not, right? If it's not, Kaku, when he ate his fruit, said, when you eat the fruit, somehow you'll know what the name is or something like that. Like, you'll find out its name because you ate it. Something like that, right?
Yeah.
What was the actual?
You'll know the name of the fruit when you eat it. But I think that's just nodding to the fact that you'll now be capable of doing something, or your body will transform in some way that will let you know what it is. Yeah. So, like, in his case, it's a giraffe fruit. Like, it's not, some mythological, like, nah, bro, I ate a giraffe fruit because now I'm able to turn to a giraffe. So, what I'm trying to say is, it could be a different fruit. It could be. There's a possibility. It's not concrete, but it's a possibility. I'd say it's like 20% that Luffy's not rubber. That's too high.
But I do believe if he's not rubber, and I can't hear him say Gomu Gomu no Mi no more, that's going to knock on his character too. So this is what I meant, that Oda is walking a very thin line right now that could either break his series or make his series even better, because he has set us up for so long, kept us in the dark for so long, that if he reveals this to us and it's not a great payoff, again, it's going to be, unfortunately, that's the gift and the curse of being great. Yeah. That's the gift and the curse of being a GOAT. That you get this GOAT status, and if you fail, it's going to be a harder fall.
You end up like Game of Thrones. He's literally toeing that line, dog.
So it's going to be very interesting. To me, he's rubber. He's going to awaken and do Gear 5 together.
Okay.
So...
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
So pretty much what I was thinking about what you're saying too, and I forgot to add what I was saying, is what I will accept though, is because what I've said, this goes in harmony with the show, right? Is what I can accept that Luffy gets from Joyboy is maybe knowledge, right? Because I noticed that Luffy can do a lot with knowledge, even though he seemed like he's the dumb person in the show or whatever. But like, I've noticed that when people have knowledge of certain things, even when it's hockey, how they're able to progress it. You have knowledge of certain things. Like Luffy was informed of knowledge of how to utilize hockey and what hockey is. That made him take hockey to even further. Knowledge, where he sensed through experience, but also knowledge, how he's able to make his conquerors bloom by experiencing it through Kaido. That knowledge, I could put and bro conquers into my attacks, made him stronger. So what I'm thinking is like maybe Joyboy is like what Joyboy is, since it's like I'd rather not body possession. If it's maybe for a little bit. But mainly, like, Luffy gets with a knowledge of how to, like, be stronger in a way. Or, like, in a way, a knowledge of a greater strength. Maybe even is to awaken.
Yeah, but again, that's, like, the same thing that happened with Aang, right? Like, he learned how to remove people's bending away.
Through the Avatar stage.
I don't like that. It takes away from Luffy's character, for me personally.
Even if it just gave him knowledge about, like...
Yeah.
I will tolerate no Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh my god!
But I wanted to read some of the super chats. We got a couple. We got a couple.
Hold on one second though. The only thing I want to point out is that, for all those people that look at Kaido and is seeing Luffy lose over and over and over again, and Luffy keeps getting back up. This is the same thing that was happening with Katakuri. So I don't want to hear later on that Kaido has no pop, because you're going to drive me up the wall and I'm going to just cancel the show.
I mean, Kinemon's alive, right?
Listen. All I'm going to say is this is what happens when you fight Luffy. It doesn't matter who you are. that he's going to get beat down by anybody and everybody. He's always going to get back up. So you shouldn't diminish a character that's fighting him their power. You shouldn't, because that's just unfair to those characters now. Like, if Kaido is the top of the top and Kaido put him down 4 times and Luffy literally died and then came back, you can't tell me that Kaido doesn't have pop.
Yeah, he killed Luffy.
Yo, I'm tired of that, yo. Listen, please, stop that.
Ain't nobody
and I'm
saying
coming for
Kaido
you
don't got
because
pop. Listen.
you're going to be the person to be like, Kaido don't got pop then.
No, I'm not.
Kaido's soft, yo.
No, I'm not.
He ain't strong like that, bro.
I have a rebuttal.
He ain't strong like
we
that,
don't
bro.
have time for that for the show. I'm going to read these super chats real quick.